Hello, today we are here to talk to you about selfish genes. Selfish genetic elements are stretches of DNA that do not normally perform a useful function at the whole organism level, but instead act to ensure their own survival and even replication within the genome. There are several types of SGEs. First, transposable elements. Second, biased gene converters. Third, meiotic drivers. Fourth, post-segregation drivers. Fifth, cytoplasmic drivers. These elements act to increase their own transmission to the detriment of other components of an individual's genome. This does not mean that such elements cannot have positive long-term evolutionary consequences, and some of the elements in this list can be both selfish and beneficial.
A classic example is transposons. In a haploid asexual organism, the transposon copies itself within the genome to reduce the risk of being lost from its lineage. This way, if one copy is lost, other copies will remain in the genome. Transposons also protect themselves by spreading to other lineages on plasmids. In sexual diploid species, transposons copy themselves onto new chromosomes to increase their chances of being passed on to offspring in the next generation during meiosis.
If you look at the picture to the right, we have three processes that favor transposition. In the first picture, there is a transposon that copies itself to a new site on the chromosome. The initial copy is lost in a deletion event, but the new copy persists. In the second picture, we have a transposon that is copied to a plasmid. A transposon is shuttled on a plasmid copy into a new genetic background by the process of conjugation. The transposon is copied onto the new chromosome and has now spread to a new lineage. In the last picture, prior to transposition, a transposon on only one of the two homologous chromosomes ends up in only half of the meiotic products. After a transposition event copies the transposon onto the homologous chromosome, all meiotic products carry the transposon.
In all of these ways, transposons don't benefit the host, but rather selfishly benefit itself only. Because of this, transposons are much like parasites. They are not capable of independent replication and must rely on replicative processes of their hosts. They persist over evolutionary time, but because they only code genes that help their own reproduction and spreading often at their host's expense. How selfish. In review, a selfish gene increases its frequency by 1. Copying itself so as not to be lost from its own lineage. 2. By spreading to other lineages by way of traveling on plasmids. And 3. By copying onto new chromosomes to pass onto offspring through meiosis.
The end.
Woo!